and the perception about the president's policy decisions. If you put those two together, 21% and 18%, that's huge. That's 39%. In terms of MPs and government appointees, probably at the assembly and all of that, it's only 19%. So this post-election survey reveals that the president must take a greater share of blame in terms of the poor performance of the NPP in the 2020 polls, which is quite revealing. The other matter of concern is that if you do the analysis from all the Afrobarometers, 2017, 2019, which you have alluded to earlier, and you juxtapose it with this post-election survey, it is clear that confidence in the president is at an all-time low. The president must be very worried about that. If you take the 2019 Afrobarometer, it actually had listed the presidency as one of the most trusted institutions. It was army, religious leaders, and the presidency, 72%, 63%, and 58% respectively, when it comes to the fight against corruption. At least at the time, he had been spared as an institution that we could count on him to fight corruption. But now you look at how it declined with the pre-election and then post-election, even a further decline. When you have a staggering 53% saying that they can't trust the president to protect the public purse, and then 62%, I mean, one of the highest numbers in this work, saying that they cannot have confidence in the president to fight corruption and to uproot or curb impunity. That is telling. That is telling. And I think the president has to sit up, because this is coming at a time that if you look at even the commentary from independent analysts, just this week, we heard what Professor PLO Lumumba had to say. He said he had high expectations. And indeed, in 2017, he had voiced out very high expectation for the Ghanaian president. He thought that he had said the right things, he had struck the right chord, and that he would move this country in the right direction. Now he says the president is moving in a negative direction, with a jet speed. Yeah. That's what he adds. And we all know that Professor Lumumba is somebody who is well respected, doesn't mince words. This week, on the Super Morning Show on this same network, Professor Adai said that, look, the corruption fight, we are losing it. It's become too endemic, and we cannot even develop. Businesses cannot thrive because of how endemic corruption has become. Emil Short too, has said the same thing. So all of this validates the work of CDD. That's why when I heard Mr. McMenu in the clip that you played earlier, saying that all of this is just propaganda, and should not be taken seriously, I thought that was not a good response.
To a certain level, I understand McMenu to be saying that the people have been fed propaganda.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what
but it is not exactly the case that CDD has gone to do propaganda. Yeah. I try to analyze the statement, and that's
the way I understood it.
That's the way I want to appreciate
that. People have been fed propaganda. He says, that's why they are responding that way.
Yes, it is like the case where Yaboabia Samoa just joined us, and we'll come to you soon.
Yeah,
it is like the case where Yaboabia Samoa responds to President Mahama and says, times are not hard. It is rather the NDC or people like Mahama who is making you feel or believe that times are hard. The times are not.
You see, that interpretation even makes matters worse. If you say that the corruption concerns that Ghanaians have, that even now you have all these, respected international, analysts talking about, it is perception, then it is even an insult. It means that you are totally oblivious. You are failing to recognize. And you see, the first part of the solution, which to me is more fundamental, is to acknowledge that there is a problem. If you are failing to acknowledge
that governments don't acknowledge.
If you are failing to acknowledge that there's a problem,
never acknowledge.
I mean, if you take...
You have been information minister, and you know that when the corruption perception, index come out, the last thing you do is to make an acknowledgement that, yes, it's right. We are as corrupt as the survey says. You don't do that.
Well, that is wrong. You see, you should be able to accept that this survey, this research is cause for concern. We accept it. We will work on it, and you can go further to talk about what you are doing. But when you are dismissive and you say it's all propaganda, the people are being fed with propaganda. The PDS scandal is not propaganda. The Novation contract, which will have caused this country a loss of some $800 million. It's not propaganda. There are over 5 million tons of fuel that got missing at Bost. Up to now, nobody has been held liable. It's not propaganda. The Australia visa scandal, that's not propaganda. I mean, there have been very palpable, tangible, concrete examples of corruption. The president himself has had to fire people. He's had to promise investigations, except that often these investigations lead us nowhere. Nobody is held liable. As we speak, nobody has been made to account for the Australia visa scandal. Then the president's own conduct. Look at how the president hounded out the Auditor General. This is not perception. These are things that happened in real terms. Civil society organizations were up in arms. They even proceeded to court. They counseled the president that what you are doing is wrong. This is a celebrated Auditor General of high repute, an anti-corruption czar. His only mistake, Yaudam Levo's only mistake, or the only crime he committed, was to dare to surcharge the senior minister. We all know what happened in this country. That is not perception.